Okay, so here we go. First little moto blog. I have a DJI Action 5 mounted on my tank, which I think looks pretty badass, honestly. And I'm waiting for a helmet that I'm going to use just for my videos. I got a Corsair that's really nice, and right now I'm wearing a helmet that's probably not very safe. It was my neighbor's old one from like years ago. So I tested the audio. The audio does not sound too bad. And I'm just going to kind of cruise and give you a little idea of what it's like at 52 to ride a GSXR1000R 2023 for, I don't know why I'm talking like that. This is not the norm. I usually need 1,000% concentration, obviously, when I'm on a bike. But thankfully I live in the rural area and I can kind of cruise. I'm gonna pull over and let this car go by. I could kind of cruise. Oh, they're turning in where I pulled off. So I can kind of cruise and not really encounter a lot of traffic, which is nice. I'm in C mode right now. So this bike has 3 different modes. It has A mode, B mode, and C mode. Those are the 3 riding modes. A lot of people will say that A mode is 1,000 and B mode is 750 and C is 600, but they actually stand for A, active, B, basic, and C, comfort. So when you're just cruising around, you're not wanting to actually have a felony kind of fast bike like this thing is, where it just wants you to frickin' charge, warp speeds. It really is nice just to kind of cruise on C mode. It's a little less engine underneath you. You don't have that vibration, and just really helps out. So I'm gonna let this car pass. Oh, he's not going my way. But I wanted to kind of go through some of the things that I was experiencing, debating what to buy. So let me give you a little teeny past of my history. Here, hold on. I'm going to make sure it's recording. It is. I had 916s back in the day in my 20s. I had Lamotas. I had a lot of leader bikes like 996s. I had a RC51. I had, what else? CBR 900R, bikes like that. So I always had leader bikes, and it was just kind of what I experienced in the beginning. My first bike was a CBR 600, and you see this? With the quick shifter, I don't even need to have my hand on the clutch. I can just cruise through. And it's going to be dummied down a teeny bit in C mode, but I figure I don't need full power right now when I'm going ahead and experiencing this whole new thing, which is this video vlog, kind of whatever, with my motorcycle. I've never recorded myself, thankfully, on my bikes when I was younger, and that's probably a good thing, because we rode like animals. And I guess there's a few things. I don't know if I have it in me to want to ride that way anymore. I mean, from upper 20s to early 30s to 52, I chilled out a lot. So I'm going to pull over for a second. See, to me it's hard to do this because the exhaust is so loud and I just have a hard time concentrating. So this is totally a new thing for me, so bear with me if it's not perfect. Literally my first time doing this ever. But my whole contemplation, being older now, is did I want this much bike? And I had the advantage of testing a Ducati, a V2 I think, and then I test drove a GSXR1000R, and instantly when I got on the 750, the GSXR, it felt super amazing. So it felt way more comfortable, way more like I was back at home. But then there was the whole contemplation, do I get a 750 or do I get a liter? 750 maybe is a little bit more docile. It doesn't have the electronics like this. It doesn't have the riding modes. It doesn't have ABS. But with that being said, I didn't even know if I'd dig all that. The one thing I can tell you that I really enjoy is the quick shifter. So the quick shifter is super chill, and it's nice to not have to, I can even shift up with no hands, and it just works. Or I can go and cruise. And do speeds faster than I should. And that's only C mode. So mind you, C mode is kind of like, I know they say it's comfort mode, but to me it's like cruise control mode. It's just a cruise mode. It's easier to ride without doing warp speed and having to look over your shoulder all the time, because when you're in A mode, there's a big difference. I never even use B mode. I mean, I've used it like for a second, but to me, there's no real reason. You're either going to be full power or you're going to be chill, just to have a more like a more gentleman type GSXR. So I like that, a gentleman GSXR, as opposed to the whole felony speed thing in ride mode A. But the modes are really nice on this bike. The quick shifter is really nice. I'm not a huge fan of the ABS just because I enjoy doing stoppies and things like that. Normally what I ride this bike in is traction control 1 and A mode, or traction control 1 and C mode, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm just wanting to cruise around and not feel like I need to go really fast, C mode is all you need. You could still get in trouble. You could still do 150 miles an hour. You can do whatever you want. That's going to be, you know, really quick enough to cause harm or get yourself in trouble. But the great thing is I can go ahead, and I learned this too while riding. If I'm not on the gas, if I'm on the gas and I try to change the mode by holding down the mode button, I have to let off the gas in order to change the mode. So right now I put it into A mode, and there's going to be a big difference. I guess I could just kind of cruise and blast a little bit and see if you guys can hear the difference. But this is A mode, traction control 1. First gear is pretty crazy. Second gear is pretty crazy. Actually, all gears are pretty crazy. So, as you see, it's pretty warp speed. So, definitely a lot of bike to be on top of in A mode. It's not very chill, and it really unleashes a punch. I have a Power Commander 6 on this. I got it tuned, and there's no gaps in anything. It's probably dynoing at like 160 to 65 rear wheel horsepower. So it's not insane. I had a 2001 GSXR1000 that I probably put 15 grand into at a race shop, a legit one called 4 and 6 Racing in Chicago, and it was legitimately faster than this mid-range. I did cam work, I did the whole thing, CompuTrack, front and rear Öhlins. It was completely dialed to me, and it was just a beast. So I could go ahead and be in third gear and literally just slip the clutch and get the thing straight up and ride crazy. crazy 130 mile an hour wheelies. This, I can't do that. I have to be in second gear to get the front wheel off if I slip the clutch. But let's kind of get back to it. There's so much to talk about. This is just kind of a test run video. So one of the big things that I was contemplating was, is this way too much bike? I read a lot of things on it and watched some videos, and people were saying it was almost scary, and you know, I kind of got in my head too much, and you know, thought maybe, wow, I can't handle this bike anymore. It's going to be way too much. And it's still a lot of bike, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I can't handle this thing to anywhere near its potential. But with that being said, I wouldn't say you need to be scared. You're going to need to respect any bike out there, basically. I mean, it can be a GSXR1000R, it can be a 600. All of those bikes can do a lot of damage and go warp speed and, you know, do enough to get you arrested or get you in trouble. Let's go ahead and slow down a little bit. Okay. But I mean, first gear, it's like, here, let me take this thing off. A traction control. Oop. So traction control is off. And I'm in A mode. So now I'm in second gear, and if I slip the clutch, it will definitely want to come up. But I haven't done wheelies in literally 20 years in a legit way. So I'm not going to push it now, but just saying the power right now is pretty extreme in first gear, second gear, all the gears. But is it too much bike at 52, or is it too much bike for the road? It's definitely not relaxing. So if you're buying a bike like a GSXR, especially a liter, this bike is not going to be relaxing. It's not super comfortable. Your wrists kind of hurt. There's no cruise control. And it's just not a bike that I would say I want to take out and go touring with. It's a bike that you take out to go ride and go ride hard. And it's cool, but at the same time, I actually may eventually trade this thing in for a GSX-8R and just have something a little bit more fun, a little bit more mild, and something that I can throw a bag on the back, cruise control on it, and just have fun. I mean, I don't know if I'm at a point in my life where I want to have this kind of power between my legs. It's definitely fun to experience, but it's a lot of bike, and it's, again, definitely not relaxing, and it's not comfortable, but it's fun. If you have this as a second bike, for example, then so be it. That's cool. You can take it out when you really want to hammer, but to have as your only bike, I think it's a lot of bike to have all the time, because you definitely want to be geared up. Right now I'm wearing a helmet that I normally wouldn't. I'm wearing a sweatshirt, which I normally don't do. I would put on a Denisi leather and have, you know, pretty legit gear on, because this thing is just warp speed quick. So, I mean, I wanted to do a little video just to, oh, shoot. Let me see something. Hopefully this wasn't recording just the blip of the tank for too long. That's another thing, this Osmo Action 5, for some reason I can't tighten it down fully. So anyway, little issues to sort out. I gotta try to be mindful of me not pressing this thing, and we're gonna cruise a little bit more. But again, having a bike like this, I wouldn't say you need to be scared of riding 1000, especially if you utilize the different riding modes. This is the wrong bike to buy if you're only going to utilize it in C mode or B mode. It's a heavier bike, it's more bike to be on top of. Again, it's not very comfortable. So on a side note, riding and talking, is not very easy. I don't know how people really do this on major roads. Thankfully, I'm on the rural road for the first time trying this. But yeah, with that being said, if you're buying this bike like 1000, this is a 1000R, 2023 GSXR1000R. I got it with low mileage, so it's super clean. But if you're gonna go ahead and buy this bike and throw it into a C riding mode and not take it into A and utilize the full power, you're kind of dropping the ball on the 1 yard line. So with that being said, super fun, but it's very rowdy. Hopefully that came across. This is a rowdy bike. It's not a relaxed bike, you know? I mean, I kind of was talking about that, but it is like felony kind of speed fast. It's just really crazy. I don't know if I could go somewhere where I can kind of get on it a little bit so you can maybe hear it and I could test my audio. But quick shifter is huge. Riding mode's really nice. The traction control, whatever, I would say that can come in handy. I got dumped on the other day riding back home, and I threw it into C mode on the fly, and that actually was pretty cool because I had a throttle down bike. I didn't have to be as concerned, and just kind of felt nice to utilize it and not have the power that maybe would get this thing loose or get my back end slipping out on me. But yeah, I mean, this bike is pretty crazy. Let me see if I can kind of zip on this road, make sure there's nobody out. And that's the thing. When I'm on this bike, all I want to do is go fast, because guess what? It's not comfortable, as I said. I don't think it is, not for longer distances. It's not very relaxing. And what else is there to do other than to take this thing and blast? So this bike is not very relaxing. If you're gonna buy this bike and take it out, guess what? It's gonna be something that you're gonna either wanna ride and ride kind of fast. Otherwise, you're just riding a big, huge bike that's wanting to frickin' rip, and it's not relaxing and it's not comfortable. Let's see if we can take off a little bit without messing the camera up. I got an Akrapovic GP slip-on, and I'll tell you what, if you don't use earplugs, I don't have earplugs in right now, but I rode for like an hour yesterday with earplugs, but one of them wasn't seated the correct way, and my ear was super ringing and sore when I took off my helmet and my earplug. So you could probably do hearing damage legitimately with this bike, with this slip-on. So the Akrapovic GP slip-on is really pretty darn loud. It sounds legit and really, really nice, but it's definitely a loud exhaust. Just kind of cruise. So right now I'm in A mode. I'm doing like 65 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour. And I can go ahead and let off the gas and switch into C mode. And now it's far more tame. So that's kind of nice. I mean, sometimes you just maybe won't have the self-control you think you should have or need to have. So C mode kind of forces you to be a good boy, essentially. But if I go ahead, here, let me look over my back. Now, mind you, I'm in C mode. So C mode is no joke either. C mode can easily get you in trouble and get you doing well over the speed limit. Now we got to be careful of gravel roads out here in the rural. Like this guy right here. We're not going to go down him. I'll turn my camera up a teeny bit, and then I'll throw it into A mode. Oh. And this is a heavier bike too, so you know. So it's going to be heavier, of course, than a 600, than a 750. So I'm going to hold the mode button down. Here, hold on one second. I'm going to pull out my phone and get a little quick B-roll. So all I'm going to do right now, there's a little box on the traction control. I can go up and down. I'm going to keep it on 1. And then I can hold the mode button, and that's going to switch it over, if you do a long press on the mode dial, to the ride mode. So right now it's on C, comfort. I'm going to go into A, hold on for dear life, animal, beast mode. So there you go. That's how you do it, and that's how you do it on the fly. And if you're on the gas, whoop, I accidentally hit the stop button. Yeah, I don't know if I love doing this distracting talking while I'm on a bike, but regardless. So I got this thing reverse shifted too. Now mind you, we're in A mode, traction control 1, and I'm not even full throttle. So that was front wheel coming off the ground at pretty high speeds in second gear with the traction control set to 1. So people are saying that this thing is always coming off the ground, and I would disagree. So I'm going to put this thing back in the C mode, boop, 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 and it's literally that quick. So now I'm in C mode, and it's way more docile. But I am seriously contemplating trading this bike in for a GSX1000R. It's not because I don't love this bike. This bike is absolutely a blast. It's beautiful. People stop and take pictures of it. I mean, it's really a pretty bike. But at the same time, it's just a lot of bike to take out all the time for me and where I'm at in my stage of my life. I want to kind of just cruise, go relax, you know, visit my mom, do little runs, bring my drone with me. And this does not really have that kind of vibe. It's basically get up and go, 0 to 100 real quick. Hopefully this sounds pretty decent. Again, this is a total test run, so if it works and I post this, kind of cool. But I wouldn't be scared of buying a leader bike, but if you're a newer rider, this is not the bike for you. The kid who I got this from was apparently in his early 20s. He didn't even have an exhaust on it, which obviously showed that he kind of did not know really what this bike was about. This beautiful, refined motorcycle, and he took the exhaust off and basically blew all the back pressure for the performance of this bike. But, you know, I would say if you're an experienced rider, yeah, I mean, why not? And if this is the type of bike that you're looking for, meaning a performance bike, but don't expect to be going long distances on this thing. I wouldn't personally. Maybe a few hours each way as a total max, but I don't even think I'd be inclined to want to do that. So let's just go ahead and enjoy the ride for a second. Now mind you, I'm in C mode again. And as you see, C mode can completely get you into trouble too. None of the modes on this bike are a joke. Yes, it's going to be more manageable in C mode and B mode, but at the same time, as I said, if you're buying this bike and thinking you're going to rely on those two modes only, you're buying the wrong bike. And now that I know and I own this bike, again, after 20 years of really riding a bike to this capacity, or of this kind of potential and power, I wouldn't have bought it. But you don't know until you know, and now I know. So I would have always been wondering, I know how I am, if I should have got this bike, or if I got a GSX1000R or something like that, like, oh, this thing sucks, it's so slow, I want the best of the best. And this thing is one of the best sport bikes on the planet, period. I mean, my 2001 GSXR was still an animal. I kind of wish I had that still. But I don't. So to wrap things up, this bike is amazing, it's beautiful, it's not very comfortable, it's definitely not relaxing, but it's a performance beast. And I don't really think I want to ride this that way anymore, because I just don't have it in me. I'm not 25, I'm not 28, I'm not 30, 31. A lot has changed in my life, in my existence, and just the way I am as a human being in 20 years. And I don't know if I have the self-control to ride this thing the way I need to in order to not end up in jail or dead. Because it's fast, and I only want to go fast on this thing. It's just the way it is. So I guess know yourself and know, be realistic with who you are. I'm going to lose my ass probably if I trade this thing in and get a GSX1000R. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. Now I know, I learned, I experienced the power and experienced warp speed again. And yeah, that's that. So this moto vlogging thing is definitely going to take some getting used to. I don't enjoy being distracted at all on a bike, so I'm glad all my prior real crazy days were video free and just total soul riding. I mean, we had, again, crazy times on our Ducatis. I road raced for a little bit. I raced lightweight super twins with Glera, which was the Great Lake Road Racing Association, did a little CCS stuff. So, I did California Superbike School with Keith Code multiple times. So I had a lot of track time. I crashed at Road America at like 140 miles an hour, and that kind of got me off the track because I realized I wasn't really making money or doing anything, and I really didn't want to risk my life. And I guess that's the thing now too. I don't really want to risk my life riding, I just want to have fun. And this thing definitely is kind of pushing it. It's kind of an analogy of like me being in Hawaii with the big waves. When I was in my 30s, first in Hawaii, I wanted to be in monster surf and push it and swim for my life, and my ego probably was in the way. And now, I don't really want to do that anymore. I just want to have fun, essentially, and not stress so much, and do this as a relaxing activity, not something that's just going to kind of raise my anxiety, which I already deal with as it is. So, yeah, that's kind of a wrap. GSXR1000R, a badass motorcycle, a beautiful motorcycle, and if you really want to have something totally crazy fast, then this is a bike for you. But if you want to relax a little bit and have a little bit more chill time, I would look into something different, and especially if you're a beginner, this is not the bike for you. So I hope this helps, guys. I'm going to be pulling in soon. Where are you going? Sorry. But don't be intimidated if you have this bike either to use A mode or B mode or C mode, meaning the other modes, because they're there for a reason. Suzuki obviously put them there because they know what's up. And sometimes you just need to chill. So that's it. I am pulling back home, and we will see if this is any good or not. And we'll hear the bike in the garage. That's C mode. And A mode just absolutely is beast. So that's it, guys. Aloha. Bye.